What's it like when the bowler is fast, the crowd is roaring, and you have less than 1 second to make up your mind? The world's top cricket umpire, Marais Erasmus, is my guest on Under the Skin. Marais Erasmus, welcome to Under the Skin.
Thanks for having me.
We're sitting here at Perlman Park. This is where you played 9 seasons as a player, a fast bowler. What's the worst thing you ever said to an umpire?
Open your eyes. Yeah. I don't think I was any bad towards umpires. Although I was banned for a match once for throwing the ball down in disgust.
Yes.
But I think I behaved myself generally quite well.
Tell me, you're standing across a very short pitch watching the best players in the world. What's the best thing about umpiring cricket at the highest level?
Well, I'm passionate about cricket, so to be in a position like that is a privilege. As you rightly said, the best players in the world we get to see from very close, and it's to me just a massive honor.
How do you deal with that though? Because presumably you can't think, wow, this is great. Nobody has a better seat than me. I mean, you've got to have a certain mental discipline. What's yours?
I try and keep it as simple as possible. Take the names and the countries, out of the equation.
Yes.
My very first LBW I had to give in my first Test match was none other than Sachin Tendulkar.
Was he out?
Luckily, it was the correct decision.
Yes.
That's my philosophy. Take it one ball at a time and keep it as simple as possible.
I'm thinking of various kinds of distractions. I mean, the one would be crowd noise. You play in front of huge crowds, very passionate ones in certain parts of the world. Apart from anything else, part of what you have to do is listen. How does that work in an arena like that?
That can be extremely difficult in big stadiums with big crowds. So if you can't hear, you have to use your other senses and your experience, and a bit of gut feel sometimes gives those decisions. Well, unfortunately, we're not correct all the time, but those situations are very challenging.
What's the hardest thing about umpiring?
It's probably time away. We're away about 7 months of the year, so with a family, that's always a challenging thing to make work.
And how do you make it work?
I've been lucky that my wife Adele's been fantastic support. My boys will be 21 soon, twin boys. But through the difficult days, she was the one that kept everything together, and I could focus on the work. And I'm very much appreciated to her.
You went to DF Milan Hoërskool, northern suburbs of Cape Town. At that time, unlike now, not many prominent Afrikaans-speaking players in cricket. What was going on there and what changed?
There was definitely, at the time, we didn't compete as a school against the other schools. We had a regional side for the northern suburbs, playing against the southern suburb schools. I'm not sure quite why it changed, but
yes.
Nowadays those schools do have strong teams and they participate by themselves.
And then you, at the same time, decide you want to be a teacher. What kind of teacher were you? I don't mean what subjects, because you did history, geography and Afrikaans, I understand. But
yeah.
if you were to say to people, oh, Mr. Erasmus, what might they say about you?
Well, hopefully that he was a good guy and a good teacher.
Yes.
The reason why I wanted to teach is to have that interaction with the kids. And I think with my sporting background, I won many kids over academically because I won them over on the sports field.
So let's draw a line now from the line, because you work in a game with many lines and you're dealing with some really big kids. What's your man management style? Because cricket has many personalities. It's not a contact sport, which perhaps makes it all the more volatile. But what's your approach when it gets hot?
Yeah, I think I'm very, very lucky that I can stay calm in very difficult circumstances. I have a very low heart rate, so that's a plus. I don't get excited too quickly. And hopefully that, and I believe that actually rubs off on the players. So when we have situations there, my calm demeanor can, cool things down. And over time, when you deal with these guys, I think there's a bond and a relationship that starts. And, if they respect you because you've been consistent in what you do, that helps the situation.
What is your first thing? To say nothing and just let them do it?
Yeah, give them a stern look. Maybe
yes.
From the teaching days, that also worked.
Can they see that under your hat?
You take your sunglasses off. They must see your eyes.
Okay.
When we get into conversation with the players, we take our sunglasses off. They must see the seriousness in our eyes and then respond.
One of the things you get to see, other than brilliant players doing amazing things from incredibly close up is, or rather here, is the sledging. Well, what's the best sledge you've ever heard?
Yeah, I think you'll have to wait for my book because I might get into trouble. But I do think
you don't have to give us names. You can just give us narrative.
Yeah, I think most of it is a bit blown out of proportion.
Is it?
The press, you know, it's especially in the Ashes, they want, oh, they must be sledging. I think it's gone because of stump mic. It's got very clinical. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a position where players said something that you know is wrong, but it's also incredibly funny? So if you do take your glasses off, even though you're trying to look stern, you can see that your eyes are lighting up because it's actually quite amusing.
There's actually a photo of me laughing in the quarterfinal of the 2015 World Cup when Wab Riaz reacted to Michael Clark because of something that Watson said. And he said to Michael Clark, he can't say that. And Michael said to him, what did he say? He said, there's a hole in my bat. And, you know, yeah, maybe that was true because he's not laid bat on it.
What is the line, though? I mean,
when it's personal, when it becomes personal, obviously, if there's any vulgar language, then we step in. The TV umpire, obviously, are closer to the stump mic. He gets that feed, and which we don't on field.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he also helps us to say, you know, something has happened. Just have a word.
Marais, I want to get back to you behind the stumps and ask you this. It's a natural thing for all of us, for our minds to wander. And do you allow yourself to say, I don't think I'll have the lamb cutlets tonight. I think I'll try the fish. Or I wonder how my son is doing in his exam, which is coming up. The stuff that we think of. Do you let that breathe and let it come back after the next ball's been bowled? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think maybe when you're at square leg and not actually at the bowler's end.
You're thinking dinner.
You're thinking dinner, or you might see a beautiful woman in the crowd or anything like that. But when you're at the business end, there's no time for that.